So reading from I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu story. October 1973 to January 1977, facing challenges. While working on getting the permission to build from the municipal corporation, Mr. Shetty was also helping us build additional floors on the existing buildings, but it appeared that some of the work and material were below standard. Some of the wood was full of holes and defects. But it appeared that some of the wood was full of holes and defects. So Prabhupada directed us to oversee the work and materials more carefully. We had engaged Mr. Sethi to supervise the construction and had put his trust in him, but it appeared that none of the work was being done that well. Albright, some was passable. When the rotten wood came to the site, Prabhupada became very disturbed and chastised us. He quoted a Bengali saying that a goldsmith, while fashioning some gold his mother gave him to make into a ring, thinks, quote, "Should I use all the gold for the ring or put some in my pocket?" Unquote. This type of cheating was so much a part of the goldsmith's business, Prabhupada said, that even his own mother gave him gold to make an ornament. He would think, should I cheat and keep some of the for myself? Similarly, the construction business was such that someone in it would automatically think, should I make some extra money for myself? You could not engage in the business procuring materials and paying bribes and getting permits without some cheating, no matter whose money it was. On January 19th, Mr. Sethi said that he would get the permission to build the project minus the temple in 2 to 4 days. And on the third day, he got it. Prabhupada was jubilant and called for another cornerstone laying ceremony. He had already held a groundbreaking and cornerstone laying ceremony when he had first moved to the land in March 1972, and another ceremony on Ram Navami 74. But he wanted one now to signify the beginning of the main construction. He devised a festival, wishing to invite all the life members and friends in Bombay. Immediately, you make a ceremony tomorrow, he directed, and then the next day I will leave. We informed whatever members we could, especially the intimate ones like Kartikeya Mahadevya, Mr. Vashisht, a retired school principal living in Juhu, whom Prabhupada had initiated as Diksha Das, and who spoke at the ceremony. Some of the neighbors, and of course Mr. Sethi. With his own hand, Prabhupada applied the mortar around the cornerstone and fixed it in the bricks. Then he spoke about his mission. I'll not take much of your time, but I shall try to convince you what is the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement. The purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement is to save the human society from becoming animals, cows and asses. People have established, as stated in the Bhagavad-gita, an animal or Asuric civilization. The beginning of Asuric civilization is pravritim, chanivritim, chagyana navidur asuraha. In the Asuric demoniac civilization, people do not know in which way they have to guide themselves for attaining the perfection of life. Pravriti, nirvriti, what is favorable and unfavorable. Pravritim cha, nivritim cha, khyana nevidur asuraha, na socham napi cha charaha. There is no cleanliness, nor good behavior, na satyam teshu vidyate, and there's no truth in their life. This is the beginning of demoniac civilization. Satyam, there's no truthfulness. And the first class life means the Brahman life, Satyam Socham. The beginning is Satyam. The Asuric life is no Satya, no truth. And the first class life in human society, the Brahmana, is Satyam. And Tapa, Socham, Shantir, Arjavam, Eva, Cha Jnanam, Vijnanam, Ashikyam, Astikam. Our Krishna consciousness movement is to create a class of ideal first-class men with Satyam, Socham, Tapo, Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha. This is godly civilization. And this godly civilization can be given to the whole world by India. That is India's special privilege. And we selected this Bombay city. Bombay is the best, most advanced city in India. The people are very nice. Therefore, I wanted to start this center. The people are very nice, religiously inclined, opulent. They can take up better things very nicely. Therefore, I wanted to start this center, Bombay, for spreading this Krishna consciousness movement. Although there have been many impediments in my endeavor, still ultimately it is Krishna's business. It will become successful. So today, the foundation and cornerstone establishment was done 2 years before, but there were so many impediments from the Asuric Jana people. Now, some way or other, we have got a little relief from such impediments. So we are putting this cornerstone, this auspicious day, and I'm very glad that you have joined us. So the mission is very, very authorized, and it comprehends a large jurisdiction of activities. Therefore, my request is that the inhabitants of Bombay, especially those who are our members, kindly take active part to make this institution successful in Bombay. So many ladies and gentlemen are present here. Whatever we are doing is not whimsical nor mental concoction. It is authorized and just to the standard of Bhagavad-gita. So, make this center successful. You ladies and gentlemen of Bombay, we have got very nice place. We're building so that you can come and stay here, at least on the weekend. Those who are retired, elderly ladies and gentlemen, can come here and stay. We have sufficient place. But try to organize these principles of Bhagavad-gita all over the world. That will be the gift of India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired that anyone who has taken birth in India as a human being, Bharata Bhumite Hoy Manushya Janma Jar Janma Sartake Kadi Kara Pada Upakar. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, verse 41. Anyone who has taken birth as a human being in India, Bhumi, first of all, make your life successful, because you have got the standard how to make life successful. Here in Bhagavad-gita, try to understand it, make your life successful, and then broadcast this message all over the world. That is paropakar, working for the benefit of others. India's people are meant for paropakar, not for exploiting others. That is not our mission, but actually that is being done. Everyone goes out of India to exploit. Now, for the first time, India is giving something to the outsiders, the spiritual knowledge, and the proof you can see. We are giving, we are not taking. We do not go to beg, give me wheat, give me some money, give me this, give me that. No, we are giving something substantial, and they are feeling obliged. Otherwise, why these young men and girls are after the Krishna consciousness movement? They are feeling something. They are getting something tangible. So it has got potency, very good potency. They are not feeling like Americans or Canadians or Australians, and we are not feeling as Indians. On the spiritual platform, we are one. So, this is a great culture, Bhagavad-gita as it is. Those responsible ladies and gentlemen present here, make this center very successful and come here and study Bhagavad-gita as it is, without any foolish interpretations. I say foolish again and again because interpretation is not at all required. Everything is clear from the very beginning. So try to understand Bhagavad-gita as it is. Make your life successful and spread this message all over the world. You'll be happy and the world will be happy. I'm a very old man now, 80 years old. My life is finished. But I want some responsible Indians, and combined with people from other countries. Other countries are getting good cooperation. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for me to spread in such a short time. Only 7 or 8 years to preach this cult all over the world. So, I require the cooperation of the Indians, especially the educated young men. Come forward, stay with us, study Bhagavad-gita. We haven't got to manufacture anything. And what we can manufacture. We are all imperfect. Whatever is there, let us study it and practically apply it in life and spread the message all over the world. So today is a very auspicious day. With great difficulty, we have got now sanction. Now please cooperate with this attempt as far as possible with our pranaya, artaya, dhiya, vachaha, 4 things by our life, by your words, by your money. Pranaya, artaya, dhiya, vacha, shreyam, archananam, sada. This is the mission of human life. Whatever you have got, it is not that because I am a poor man, I cannot help this movement. No, you have got your life. So if you dedicate your life, that is all perfect. If you cannot dedicate your life, give some money. But if you are a poor man, you cannot give money, then give some intelligence. And if you are a fool, then give your words. So in that way, you can help this movement and do welfare activities for India and outside India. That is my request. I welcome you. And you study. We have got now enough books. There is no difficulty to study our books. We have given an English translation. Every gentleman knows English. And they are going to give in Hindi, Gujarati, and all other languages. Our friends have already begun translating, so there will be no scarcity of knowledge. Please come here, sit down at least once in a week, study all these books, try to understand the philosophy of life, and spread all over the world. That is the mission of Bharat Varsha. So Srila Prabhupada was mentioning his books. They're in English, and everyone should study them. The whole basis of the Krishna consciousness movement is Srila Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada said, whatever you see in ISKCON, at this time, there was a temple in Vrindavan was open, and there was a temple in Hyderabad. Mayapur was only the Lotus building and the Long building. And everything else was a rented place, practically. And then Juhu was not constructed yet. So there wasn't much in ISKCON, India, right? But still, he said, whatever you see in ISKCON, it came about by the sale and distribution of these books. What we are selling is not ordinary books. These are books about Krishna, Krishna's philosophy. Bhagavad-gita is Krishna's words. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's pastimes, his lila, his devotees' lila. It's a transcendental activity, transcendental book distribution. It's not mundane. By that book distribution, he clearly said, distribute these books in as many languages as possible, all over the world, and the Krishna conscious movement will automatically spread. So that's pretty clear, right? Does anybody doesn't understand that? How the Krishna consciousness movement spreads? Huh? Sometimes we think it's, because I'm such a good preacher, I'm giving such a nice class, therefore it's spreading. One time, Drishta-Dumna, Prabhupada disciple, came to Srila Prabhupada, and he said, Srila Prabhupada, I want to give you a report on my preaching activities. And Prabhupada said, no. I am preaching, you're assisting. No? I am preaching, you're assisting. He straightened him out. So Srila Prabhupada's preaching. What will preach? Huh? We're assisting Srila Prabhupada in his preaching mission to spread Krishna consciousness. As soon as I think I am preaching, then you're finished. You're over. Khatam. We're not doing anything. We're trying to help Srila Prabhupada. He's saying here, I request you help me. Right? Kindly help me. Then if someone has that mentality, they can do something to spread Krishna consciousness. So the books are the basis. We have books in the printed form. Now there's new technology. Books are coming in different formats. E-books, what are e-books? You can read it on your cell phone or your computer, can read it. And now there's available technology, audiobooks. You can hear it, right? Some people don't have time to read, but they're stuck in their car to go to work. 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get downtown nowadays in traffic. Traffic out to Mirror Road is another 1.5 hours. So they're stuck. So people turn on the radio and they hear some Bollywood music. Right? So some people who have a little more intelligence, sumedhasa, they may want to hear something that is progressive in their spiritual life. And what can be more progressive in spiritual life if you listen to Srila Prabhupada's books? Srila Prabhupada's books in audio format, a person can turn it on and listen all during their commute. Nowadays, young people are very much into the digital world. You see 4 or 5 friends walking together, and they're all looking at their cell phone, right? Some people even sit in class and look at their cell phone. They're all pervasive, you know, cell phones. So now they can have their cell phone, use their cell phone for something progressive. Right? Instead of going deeper into Maya with the cell phone, they can go deeper into Krishna by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, by hearing Srila Prabhupada's books. So now the BBT has made, for the first time, the first BBT in the world to ever make such an app. And it's the first app ever in the world to have both ebooks and audiobooks together. So, Gopal Krishna Maharaj gave an instruction to all of his disciples that they should all have this app, right? And use it to hear regularly about from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's literatures are not ordinary literatures. They're transcendental. Srila Prabhupada described them as time bombs. Right? There's so many examples of books that got distributed to one person, but they got in the hands of another person, and that person took advantage. There was one devotee named Ishwar Puridas. Now, he was working in America at a car wash. Somebody had cleaned out their car and taken the Chaitanya Charitamrita and tossed it. They didn't want it. But he found it at the car wash, and he read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and he became a devotee. So many examples like that, right? When we distribute the books, we don't know in whose hand it will go to. If you distribute a big book, the statistics are that one hardbound book that's distributed, that'll be read by 10 different people. Right? So when we distribute one book, it's like distributing 10 books, because different people will take advantage of that. And it doesn't matter how much they read, they'll be benefited, even if they read a little bit. Their sojourn in the material world is over. Before reading Srila Prabhupada's books, they're headed towards Nardak, hell, and the hellish life. And as soon as they come in contact with Srila Prabhupada's books, and even read a little bit, they're headed in a different direction, towards the spiritual world. So, how many persons here have the Transcend app? 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5. In Hindi or in English? English, okay. Well, it's available in 11 languages. You can get Hindi, you can get English, Kannada, Gujarati, Marathi, right? Sundar Bombay, Marathi Bombay. So you can get all these languages, right? Bengali, let's not forget Odia, Orissa, Keats Chanti, Asantu, Niantu, Liantu, Odia, all are available, 11 languages. Right? Put on the app after a hard day at work and listen to Prabhupada from his transcendental literatures. And then we can gradually change this demoniac civilization that is developing very fastly. The Asuric civilization. And Prabhupada describes what that is, the Asuric civilization, where money is everything. People are chasing money. That's their goal of life, to get money. But even after obtaining so much money, still they're not happy. And someone may, present some good qualities. They're very studious, or they're very genius. They make some technological device that is very useful, and they're very organized in their life. But if the ultimate goal is sense gratification, then they're missing the point. Prabhupada gives the example, we have an algebraic equation. There's so many steps to the equation. But if you get one step wrong, you'll get the wrong answer. So in this life, this human form of life, if the goal is sense gratification, then you won't be successful. There may be some material advancement, but what is that advancement? If I have a life dedicated to sense gratification, then chances are I'll take birth again in the animal kingdom, right? So in one life, I have accumulated fame, wealth, power, organization, and in the next life, I'm a dog. What have I gained? Right? They have a saying, they're walking backwards. Walking backwards. So we want to be forward, progressive, spiritually progressive. And that can happen when we develop our relationship with Srila Prabhupada. All these devotees like Giraj Swami, and they were able to do so many things. Why? Because they had the association of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, how will it be possible for people from America to come to India and do anything? It's very difficult. The phones didn't work. The trains were crowded. It's just impossible. But the impossible became possible by the association of Srila Prabhupada. That same association is available to everyone right here today through his transcendental literatures and so many different medias, e-books, audiobooks, printed books. Develop that relationship with Srila Prabhupada, and in that way do something to help people in the world. The happiest people in the world, just like if you see in the Rockefeller or Bill Gates, right? On the one hand, they earn so much money, but then they do philanthropic activities. They try to help people, right? Because just having money in itself doesn't bring happiness. Happiness comes when we try to help other people. The mistake they make is they try to help other people's body, right? But that's not who they are, right? If I help people from being not hungry, they're going to get hungry again, right? If I try to cure their disease, they'll get some other disease. But if I give them transcendental knowledge, how not to have birth again in this material world, how not to have to die again in this material world, then I have benefited them on the spiritual platform. So para-upakar, helping others, doing transcendental activities for the benefit of others, this is the way to be happy. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. The next day, January 24th, after staying in Juhu for almost 3 months, Juhu had Prabhupada's association probably the most of any place. Once he stayed for 6 months. Here it's saying he stayed for 3 months, where he didn't stay anywhere else like that. Maximum, he would come to a center, he'd be there 4 days or 5 days. I saw Prabhupada in Chicago. He was there a week. I saw Prabhupada in Detroit, twice in Chicago. In Detroit, same. He stayed about a week. And then, but in Bombay, he would come and he would stay for quite some time. He liked it. You know what he liked about Hare Krishna land? He liked Juhu Beach, yeah. He said, my 3 favorite places in the world: my garden in Los Angeles, my rooms in Vrindavan, and Juhu Beach. He liked Juhu Beach. But he also liked the trees. Actually, he called it heaven on earth because there were so many trees. He liked the trees in Hare Krishna land. Of course, we've had some temple commanders that like to cut down the trees for some reason. I don't know. But Prabhupada liked the trees in Hare Krishna land. And if you see, Hare Krishna land is blessed. There's so many nice trees. You go to other societies, they don't even have one tree, right? And Hare Krishna land has so many trees. The birds take shelter here in Hare Krishna land. We have parrots, kokil, you hear them in the morning. They perform their seva for the Vaishnavas by waking them up. Kokil, kokil, right? Waking everybody up. Right? That's their seva. Huh? Transcendental place. It's non-different from the spiritual world because Radha-Rasbihari is the center of everybody's life. At least supposed to be the center of everybody's life. Right? We had one devotee here, his name was Vamana. How many remember Vamana? Not the Bengali Vamana. There was another Vamana. He was Gujarati. His name was Upendra Yagyak. He was a Brahmin from Saurashtra. Upendra Yagyak. And he got initiated by Kirtananda Maharaj, and his name was Vaman. But he was there from the time of Srila Prabhupada. There's a nice photograph. Prabhupada is with all the foreign devotees, and he's walking down Chattikar Road at that time. Now it's Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg. And you can see either sides of the road, there's nothing there, only fields. Now you look in Chattikar Road, and you can't see any fields, only buildings. But Vaman's right there, short. He was very short. I think that's why Prabhupada called him Vaman, because he was short. And he was a good kirtan leader, and he would go out downtown. If you need a ticket, Vaman. You needed to send something somewhere on the railway, Vaman. Right? Vaman was the gopher for so many BBT department, temple department, and anybody who needed anything, they would get it from Vaman. He lived outside over in these Chobrapatis by the Nala, him and his wife. He never had his own children. He adopted some children, raised them, brought them up as devotees. They're still devotees in Pune. But he became old. And I told Vaman, I said, Vaman, now you're old. It's time to go to Vrindavan. And he said, no, 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 no. This is my Vrindavan, Radha-Rasbihari. So Right, right. The Prasadam Hall, he would read Chaitanya Charitamrita every day. And he would get some milk at night and he would feed the cats. So one time, Jalatala asked him, Vaman, you're feeding these cats all the time. Can they chant Hare Krishna? He said, yes. Ask them. So she said Hare Krishna and the cat went meow. Vaman's cats. Still, there might be some cats that are the descendants of Vamana's cats. Of course, in those days, the rats were so big that the cats were afraid of the rats. Literally, the rats were this big. I never seen rats. They're like small pigs or something. So, it's all in how we see it. It's all, the spiritual world is there. We simply have to tap into it. And that's why we chant every day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. We have heard from the authority that the spiritual world is right there. It's at our fingertips. The holy name is non-different from Krishna. When we chant the holy name, Radha and Krishna is dancing on our tongues. But we're not able to perceive it. We're not able to catch it. We're not able to be there. So when we're chanting, we're begging for the Lord to open the, pull back the curtain of Maya so that we can absorb ourselves in the transcendental association of Radha and Krishna in the spiritual world. If we chant with that kind of feeling, ultimately it's the mercy of the Lord. We're dependent on the Lord's mercy. You can't storm yourself into the spiritual world. It doesn't work like that. I'm going to do tapasya, I'm going to do austerity, and I'll get into the material world. It doesn't work like that. It depends on the mercy of Krishna. It depends on the mercy of Krishna's devotee. Then it's possible. Otherwise, by our own efforts, by our own abilities, we'll always come up short. Just like when Yashoda tried to tie Krishna, the rope was always 2 inches too short. It will always be like that. Always 2 inches too short. And the moment that we surrender, what is Krishna saying? Sarva dharmam prityaja mame kam saranam vaja. Surrender unto me. As soon as we surrender to Krishna, as Draupadi surrendered, hey Govinda, what to speak of 2 inches? Meters and meters were coming. Right? But that surrender is so important. Everything we do is to bring us to the platform of surrendering to Krishna, whether it's chanting His holy name, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, and everything else is simply a diversion. Diversion. So don't be diverted. Keep the goal in focus. Realize the transcendental nature of Hare Krishna land. Everything is transcendental here. Whether it's, every service is transcendental. There's not one high service, low service. Sweeping the temple room floor is also service to Krishna. Krishna appreciates that as much as the devotee that's putting the garland. It's equal. So whatever service we have, if we don't have any service, get some service. And whatever service we get, do it conscientiously, with great attention. Do your service, whatever it is. And Krishna will reciprocate. And how will that reciprocate be? How that reciprocation will come? Attachment to the holy name, attachment to the form of Krishna, attachment to the association of devotees, a attraction for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, This is how it will come. If we don't have attraction for the holy name, attraction for association, attraction for the hearing Bhagavatam, right? We're not getting enough mercy. Lolyam means an intense desire to have that perfection. Krishna reciprocate with our lolyam. And he may do many other things to help us come to the perfect stage. Like he did for Indra. He helped Indra. Indra became puffed up. Who is this talkative little boy, Krishna? Why are the inhabitants of Vrindavan listening to him? I'm the king of heaven. So Krishna doesn't like his devotees to be very proud. So he arranged a little drama to cut the pride of Indra. So he'll do that for us too. He'll help us. We should recognize it though. Everything what's happening is Krishna's arrangement, right? What is happening is Krishna's arrangement for my development. If we see it like that, then we can learn the lesson that Krishna is trying to teach us. But if we don't see it like that, we say, no, he's like this and she's like that and he said this and he did that, then we're not going to get the lesson. Not going to learn the lesson. And the same thing will be happening again and again. Just like if you flunk the fifth standard, you have to go back to the fifth standard. Same thing you learned the year before, you got to learn it again until you can pass. So the same things keep happening in our lives because we're not receptive to what Krishna wants us to learn. And that's why we also have the spiritual master to guide us properly. He's the representative of Krishna. In London on March 11th, he reflected on his efforts in Bombay. Brahmananda, referring to one of Prabhupada's youthful exploits, said, "You must have been very brave." "Yes," Prabhupada replied, "I'm still brave." And the devotees laughed. "Otherwise, how could I come to preach the Krishna consciousness? I'm still brave." So what was he talking about? In Calcutta, they have the Victorial Memorial. So when Prabhupada was young, they were building that. And there was a scaffolding all the way up to the top of the Victoria Memorial. Very tall building. So Prabhupada said to the devotees when they were walking in that garden, that when he was young, he was like the leader of all his friends. He was always a leader. So he climbed up to the top of that Victorial Memorial, climbed the scaffolding. So the devotee said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, you are very brave." And Prabhupada, "Still I'm brave. Otherwise, how could I go to America?" Right? And just think about it. Almost 70 years old, no friends, 40 rupees in his pocket, right? And 40 rupees he couldn't change over there, so he practically had no money in his pocket, right? You still can't change rupees over there. How brave. Completely dependent on the mercy of Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada, the devotees exclaimed. Some astrologer told that this boy, for executing his purpose, will enter into the fire. He continued, "Yes, recently here in our Bombay affair, it was a fight with fire. Is it not?" "Oh yes," Brahmananda agreed, "and we have come out victorious." "Yes, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So many obstacles," Prabhupada said, "and still going on. Now the governor is cornered. The governor of Maharashtra in Bombay. If he says yes, that is dangerous for him. If he says no, that is also dangerous. So I'll stop there, but just as there were problems then, there'll be problems now, right? The devotees have to face the challenges of all the problems and work together cooperatively to make Hare Krishna land what Srila Prabhupada wanted it. A showcase piece of Krishna consciousness. You know, when people come here, they should appreciate the spiritual vibration of the devotees, dedicated to the service of Radharasbihari, working cooperatively together, right? Giving up their own desires, their own aggrandizements for the pleasure of Radharasbihari. That kind of cooperation, people will pick up on it, right? And they'll want to be part of it, because out there in the material world, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. It's all dog-eat-dog, right? Society. So it takes effort on our part to be Krishna conscious and to help everyone we come in contact to be Krishna conscious, and then we'll make Hare Krishna land famous all over the world. It's already famous, but it can become more famous, and we can be part of it. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Once in the beginning, when they were printing Back to Godhead magazines, Rai Ramananda Prabhu went and asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can you also write some articles for Back to Godhead? Prabhupada, you are writing articles. Now, how you are printing? Rai Ramananda Prabhu said, we hear your lectures and copy them. Prabhupada said, I am only writing. So, like you made a very good point that nobody should think, I am making devotees. They are my chelas. And, sometimes they have objection. Oh, why you are talking to my chelas? He's my devotee.
Right. One time Prabhupada said, I know that all of you have been sent by my Guru Maharaj to help me. Oh, you're all Bhaktisiddhanta's men, sent by him. How his vision was? How his vision was.
One more time, when the temple was there, Srila Prabhupada was there, and he saw nobody in the arati. So he asked, he called Giriraj Maharaj, why devotees are not present? Prabhupada, they all went for preaching. Prabhupada said, no, this Mr. Nair had so much material strength, but our strength is spiritual. That is why he got defeated. Otherwise, he has free press journal, he has so much followers, gundas and all. But so then Prabhupada said, our strength is spiritual. So all the devotees should attend all the programs. Then we get spiritual strength.
Yes. It's not a mundane thing. It's transcendental. We're looking for spiritual strength. The kind of strength that is not available in the material world. The kind of strength that comes from chanting the holy name, hearing Bhagavatam, seeing the deity nicely dressed, doing kirtan. Then you'll get strength. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class. Prabhuji, we feel the Prabhupada disciple generation, which are there now, who are there now, those are giving a lot of inspiration to the younger generation in ISKCON.
Yeah.
What do you think ISKCON's future? Is it still, if it depends on spiritual strength, as Ramaru Prabhu mentioned. But still, we require some management strength where that requires material management to manage preaching. So, once the proper disciples goes back home, so how ISKCON future will be?
Well, hopefully there'll be some sincere followers, and they'll take up the mission seriously, and in that way things will go on. Mostly those who come, even if they get initiated, they'll go away. They won't stick. Out of all those that get initiated, only a few are chanting 16 rounds and following the regulative principles.
Sorry, I could not understand second statement you said.
I said of all those who get initiated, only a few will be chanting 16 rounds and following the regulative principles. After the spiritual master goes, it becomes chaos for the disciples. And we saw that after Prabhupada left, so many things happened. But the sincere followers who understand the instructions and try to follow the instruction of the spiritual master, they will be able to carry on the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So that's the important thing. Stick to the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Read Srila Prabhupada's books. Hear Srila Prabhupada's books in the Transcend app, or whatever way you're comfortable with, and apply them in your life. Chant 16 rounds, follow the principles, and you'll be there to help push Lord Chaitanya's movement forward. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Small reflection, Puji. And you mentioned this past time how Srila Prabhupada was brave and he climbed the Victoria Memorial, and he told that I am brave now also. How could I have come to America to preach Krishna consciousness? So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it's one of the limb of devotional service to take risk for Krishna.
What's that?
It's a limb, it's an anga of bhakti to take some risk for Krishna. So it's one of the aspect of our bhakti sadhana bhakti to accept some risk, and Prabhupada was Acharya, showing by his personal example. Similarly, when we take some responsibility or some risk out of our zone, so that is one of the aspects of bhakti, and very much we receive mercy of Lord.
You know, these motivational speakers, they talk about how to do a startup, and right? So one of the main points that they all mention in trying to be successful materially, right, is to get out of your comfort zone. As long as you stay in the comfort zone, then you won't be able to do anything new. You won't be able to do anything innovative. You have to accept some of that tapo divyam, right? And then when Krishna sees, oh, for my sake he's doing this, then he helps. And who can be a better assistant than Krishna? If Krishna's on your side, you're bound to win. Duryodhana, he was calculating materially when he said that I'll take Krishna's army, because Krishna said, I won't fight. I'll be on one side, and the other side can have my army. So Duryodhana wanted the army. But Arjuna, he wanted Krishna on his side, even though he declared he wouldn't fight. Right? So we're like that. We want Krishna on our side. Now, how will we get Krishna on our side? How is it possible? It's possible by getting out of your comfort zone. Try to do something, right, that you're a little awkward about, or you're not confident that you can do it. But you try, and Krishna helps.
But bhakti also become very fresh, new, when we take some challenges or more vows of tapasya or sadhana or chanting more rounds or something like that. the bhakti also become very fresh, ever new when we practice the limbs. That is, risk is very important, some challenges.
That's a
in
good
that.
point, yes. Try to do something extra for Krishna. Like on Ekadasi, you can chant 25 rounds instead of 16. Or if you're not chanting your rounds, you could try to chant 16 on Ekadasi instead. Sometimes I was saying, and they used to make an announcement that today's Ekadasi, chant 25 rounds. Well, they could make the announcement, okay, today's Ekadasi, so at least chant your 16 rounds. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi.